Yes, double Y. And if you've been here before, welcome back. If you are new, welcome. So like you guys can see in the title, today I will be having a chit chat with you all about why Maxwell Sheffield did not deserve Fran Fine. And if you guys see me looking over this direction, I have my laptop here. And I'm just making sure I do not miss certain points that I need to discuss because I have thoughts. Now I know that HBO some months ago put up the Nanny series, so if you're someone who's never ever seen the show and you're intending on watching it, you don't want any spoilers, don't watch this. If you're someone in the middle of watching the Nanny, don't watch this until after you watch the series in its entirety. Alright, I'm going to give you guys a second to exit. Okay, now I'm back. For those who either have seen the show or don't mind having spoilers, hello there. So, The Nanny is one of my absolute favorite shows since before I can even remember. I've watched The Nanny in my childhood, in my preteen years, my teenage years, my late teenage years, my early 20s, and now. It's one of those shows that I can watch over and over and over again and never get tired of it, which, side note, is something that I did before we went into a panorama. I would watch The Nanny reruns every morning when I would get ready for work, and when that time would come where they show all the episodes and they go back to the first episode, I'd still watch it all over again simply because the show was just that good. And also, Fran Fine is like one of my hugest fashion inspirations. Like, Fran as a character is literally extremely formative to the being that I am today. And in all this time, I've rewatched The Nanny. I don't like Maxwell Sheffield for Fran Fine. I did it when I was 5, did it when I was 15, did it when I was 20, and now that I'm 28, I still do not like him for her. And I'm going to tell you why. And if you're watching this as someone who doesn't mind spoilers, but you're like, what is The Nanny about? The Nanny is an American sitcom that ran from 1993 to 1999. It's basically about a woman, Fran, who gets fired from her bridal shop job by her ex-boyfriend, and she ends up, selling door-to-door cosmetics, and she comes across the Sheffield home when at some point down the line, he ends up hiring her to become the nanny to his 3 children. So the first thing being, main thing is he said he loved her and then he took it back. I feel like I do not even need to describe how jacked up that is. Like, this whole time you've been stringing along this woman and suppressing your feelings for her, but still flirting with her and like giving her all of these will he, won't he, maybe he will, maybe he won't vibes, and then you finally tell her you love her and then you take it back. It irritates my soul. But that's like not even the main reason. Maxwell would blame Fran for things that were not her fault. Example. So there was a playwright that Maxwell, he wanted to get the rights to his play. And he wanted to find like a woman to kind of like charm or woo him in order to put him in a good mood so that he would end up giving the rights to Maxwell. So Fran says that she knows the perfect woman for this man to have dinner with and whatever to woo the guy. And it ends up being 𝐜𝐿𝐿, Fran's grandmother. And first, Maxwell is furious. Like, how dare she get her grandmother 𝐜𝐿𝐿? Like, this isn't going to work. It ends up working. The guy like falls head over heels for 𝐜𝐿𝐿. And Maxwell is like celebrating Fran, how great she is and how like this is a great accomplishment. And then 𝐜𝐿𝐿 at some point tells Fran, oh, well, the play's not finished. The man hasn't finished the play for like years. Like, it's just not done, and he's probably never going to finish it. And so Maxwell finds this out. So Maxwell ends up blaming Fran for doing what he wanted to be done, which is to get someone to persuade the playwright to give him the rights to his play. So how is it her fault that you're now in a deal when that's what you wanted in the first place? And he like yells at her for it. Like, it doesn't make sense. I just really, really dislike of how we're blaming Fran for things that are not her fault. You wanted the rights to the play, you got them. The fact that that man has not finished the play has nothing to do with Fran. Like, if you would have even gotten, like, it's just, You see how how confused I am? Like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever for him to blame her. When she finally gets him out of said deal, then the guy is like so heartbroken because she convinces Yetta to like break up with him. The guy's so heartbroken that he ends up finishing the play and ends up selling the rights to Andrew Lloyd Webber, which is like in the show supposed to be Maxwell's like nemesis. And he gets mad at Fran for getting Yetta to break up with him so that he can break his contract with the guy. But that's what he wanted. You see what I'm saying? Like, either way, Fran would have not been able to quote unquote win in his eyes. And it's just you're putting all this responsibility on someone who has nothing to do with it. Number 3, he would low-key sabotage her relationships with other men. And if the relationship wouldn't like work out with the guy, or if it was like kind of rocky, he would kind of like almost like revel in the fact that like, oh, it's not gonna work out. Or like, oh, I'm happy, like it didn't work out. Like, he didn't say that, but he would have like this kind of like really disgusting, like icky, you know, self-assured smirk about him. Like, oh, I knew it wasn't gonna work out. Like that type of vibe, which I hate. He didn't want to commit to her, but he didn't want her to date anybody else. So basically, he wanted her to be in a relationship with him, but not the other way around. You know what I mean? And this is also like another thing. I hated how like he would like run around and like chase her and like yell at her like he was really about to like do something to her. Comedy, ha ha ha, I'm running around chasing her, but like Fran would literally be like terrified to tell him if something went wrong. And like, I know it's like a whole shtick of the show, and like I'm sure a lot of people laugh, but like, let's say she has like some bad news, she'll be like, Maggie is pregnant. And like, that's like the punchline. Like, she's scared something is going to happen to her. I know like people could say that I'm reaching, which I get what you're saying, but still, like, why should Fran, our fashion icon auntie, be with someone who she feels like she can't even have a discussion with when it comes to things that he may or may not like? Like, it's stupid. One of the biggest things that really irks me is that he manipulates her out of huge job opportunities. I mean, like, huge. I remember that there was this episode where Fran ended up getting a segment on the Rosie O'Donnell show, and eventually, yes, she does get just fired or whatever, but like Maxwell tries to kind of like manipulate her into feeling like, oh, will she have time for the kids, plant these little ideas in her mind that like she can't balance between being a nanny and like a TV personality type of thing. This woman who's been taking care of your kids, and you just can't fathom her being happy without you, and you're scared that she's gonna like be taken away from you, even though you have no claim to her, you have no interest in telling her how you really feel. Like, where'd they do that? And then there was another time where she got a role on The Young and the Restless, and Maxwell ended up hiring Heather Biblow, who's played by Pamela Anderson. And if you know, Heather Biblow is the woman that Fran's ex-boyfriend, who like owns the bridal shop, he dumps Fran for Heather Biblow. And so the reason why how Fran got like the job on the set of The Young and the Restless is because her and Val, Fran's best friend, went to California to visit Heather Biblow on the set, and Heather was like not working out, like she was like messing with the lines and all that, so they let her go and ended up hiring Fran. And so Maxwell was like scared that Fran was going to end up moving to California. He hires Heather Biblow to be the kid's nanny to make Fran envious, because she was worried that like somehow Heather Biblow would end up like with Maxwell. She did end up getting fired, but she got fired because she couldn't focus on her work because she was so worried about what was going on over there. Honestly, I would have wanted Fran to end up with Maxwell's brother. I wanted her to end up with Nigel Sheffield. He loved Fran. He was ready to commit. She would have still been married to a Sheffield. She still would have become a wealthy woman if she got married to him. And he actually, like I said, openly revealed his feelings to her. Like, she didn't have to wait 5 years to get a proposal out of him. And from what I've read, the two of them weren't even supposed to end up together in the first place. The show was supposed to end with them not ending up together. If anyone, I would have wanted Fran to end up, like I said, Nigel before Maxwell, definitely. Who else? Or even that really, like, old rich dude who Fran's, like, old high school friend ended up introducing her to. But the really old, like, super rich dude who, like, bought her, like, these diamonds. I would have rather her end up with him because he was really old and he would have ended up expiring anyway and everything would have been left to her. If you like Fran and Max together, then more power to you. I don't know why you don't want our fashion icon queen to not have better than that, but whatever. Yeah, I think that's what I have to say. I just wanted to come in here like super quick and talk about that because it's something that's bothered me for years, and I'm not saying I'm the first person to ever talk about it. I'm sure there are, but it's not like as loud as I think it should be. Maxwell was not good enough for Fran. He was a manipulator, a sabotager, low-key on the verge of verbal abuse. I have to add that because this is YouTube. And he was kind of like an F-boy, if we're being honest. I can go around being single, but you can't. Do you see how stupid that sounds? That's going to be all for me today. I thank you very much for being here and watching. And if you made it to the end of the video, comment. Let me see. Let me know who was your favorite character on The Nanny. Like, obviously, Fran, we already know. We all love Fran. But if I had, like, aside from Fran, it would be a tie between Niles and Yetta. Please don't take my dislike for Maxwell, meaning I have any issue towards Charles Shaughnessy, the actor who played Maxwell, because I have a mind and cognitive function. I am extremely aware that an actor and the character they play are not the same person. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there because people seem to be lacking critical thinking skills a lot today and like to put words in your mouth. So just wanted to make that clear. Anyway, that is going to be it for me. I thank you so very much for watching. I hope you all have a dreamy day. Bye.